Which team won the Sabonis and Tyrese-Haliburton trade will be a topic for discussion for a very long time. Did the Kings win it? Did the Pacers win it? Or was it a win-win trade? However you feel about it, at the end of the day, it's your opinion. However, what is a fact is that Tyrese-Haliburton on the Indy has allowed him to flourish like no other in ways that I'm not even sure he would have ever been able to playing in Sacramento. Already at 22 years old, Tyrese has become one of the best passers and even better playmakers across the NBA, to the point where he currently leads the league in assists through the first half of the season. Prior to his injury, he even had his team sitting comfortably in the play-in and were one game behind the Knicks for the final playoff spot. If this is the level Tyrese is capable of playing at such a young age, I can only imagine how good he's going to be once he enters his prime. With the mixture of craftiness, vision, and creativity, I think Tyrese has all the tools at his disposal in order for him to be considered the next point guard. Before we get back to the video, man, just real quick, be sure to drop a thumbs up on this video if you're feeling it. Hit that subscribe button, it helps the channel out a ton, and even turn on post notifications to know when we drop videos over here. So check. Let's get back to the video. Throughout the 75+ years of the NBA, there have been no shortage when it comes to elite passers. Ranging from the great Magic Johnson and John Stockton, to Chris Paul and Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, to Rajon Rondo, to Mark Jackson, to Isaiah Thomas, and the list goes on and on and on. But only a select few have been able to lead the league in assists at such a young age. At the age of 22, there have only been 5 players ever to be the season leader in assists: Isaiah Thomas, Mark Jackson, Kevin Johnson, Chris Paul, Tyrese-Haliburton. Pretty elite company, to say the least. By the end of this season, Tyrese will have turned 23 though. But if he stays making plays like the way he has been and stays the league leader in assists, then he will join the short list of guys to do it at the age of 23. With that list being Chris Paul, Deron Williams, Kevin Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, Magic, the Big O, and last but certainly not least, Norm Van Leer.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Hey man, shout out to Norm. What makes this even more impressive is that he's barely turning the ball over. You would expect a 22-year-old who's only in his 3rd year to slip up and still make a ton of mistakes here and there. But with Tyrese, that isn't really the case. Tyrese is only averaging 2.6 turnovers a game and is 83rd in usage percentage at 28.3. Meaning there are 82 players in the NBA who have the ball in their hands more than he does across the entire NBA, yet he's the one leading in assists. During the 3-game stretch the Pacers had from November 25th to November 28th, where they went 2-1 by the way, Tyrese became the first player in NBA history to ever rack up 40 assists over those 3 games and not turn the ball over not one time. Not the first player this season, the first player in NBA history ever, ever. There's only one player among that elite group of guys I mentioned a little earlier who have led the league in assists at the age of 22 or either the age of 23 in assists who was turning the ball over less than Tyrese. That would be Chris Paul, who when he was 22 and led the league in assists only turned the ball over 2.5 times. And he is also the guy who was considered the current point guard. What makes a good or even great point guard in your opinion? Is it a player who makes a point of emphasis to keep that ball moving? Is it a player who makes the game easier for his teammates? Or is it a player that always puts his teammates in better situations to succeed? Whichever one you feel like it is, Tyrese does all of the above. Tyrese is towards the top of the NBA in terms of just passes made per game, making it a point of emphasis to keep that ball moving. A ball that's being swung around from teammate to teammate will always travel faster than a defender sliding their feet playing defense. The same way Tyrese leads the NBA in actual assists, if potential assists really counted for something, he'd lead the league in that too. Even if his teammates aren't finishing the plays or making their shots, this stat just shows the fact that make or miss, Tyrese continues to play the point guard you like to see it play. Head up and always looking to get his guys involved. He's even towards the top of the NBA in assist percentage too. Majority of the assists on that Pacers team come from Tyrese-Haliburton. Just another stat showing you how much he generates offense for his guys when he's out there on the floor. We all know today's point guards have to be able to go get them a bucket. Heck, some of the highest scorers in the game today come from the point guard spot. Out of the top 15 leaders for points per game in the league this season, 6 of them are point guards, and Tyrese-Haliburton ain't no slouch either when it comes to scoring the pill. Just averaging a hair over 20 points per game, making him the 12th highest scoring point guard this season. Not only is TH giving you 20 a night, but he's doing it efficiently. This season, with the combination of crafty scoring, crisp playmaking, and good efficiency, Tyrese-Haliburton could become the first player ever in NBA history to average 20 points per game, 10 assists, and over 40% from 3, which is actually pretty ridiculous. When I first seen it, I had to double check. You would think with the absurd amount of talent that is coming to the NBA over the past few decades with the ability to score efficiently, are good passers and good shooters, you would think something like that would have been done already. But in all actuality, someone with the combination of all 3 is actually pretty few and far between. I thought maybe a guy like Steve Nash might have done it. Nope, he was damn close on a couple occasions. He might have had the 40% and the assist, of course, but Steve Nash never cracked over 20 points per game in the season? Not one. Obviously, as efficient Steve Nash was, if he took more shots, there's no doubt in my mind, Steve Nash probably would have been the first. With the way James Harden has transformed his game over the past few seasons ever since he left Houston, going from dropping 30+ points a night, leading the league in scoring for multiple years in a row, now being like a nightly double-double guy, 23 and 10 type of point guard, I thought maybe James Harden would have been able to get it done. But nope, James Harden's shooting percentage from 3 has been hovering around the mid-30s over the past 3 seasons, so James Harden hasn't been able to get that done either. Chris Paul at one point was close, but it was one season where he didn't reach over 20 a game, and then it was one season where he didn't hit over 40% for deep. Remember, I said not just point guards, no player ever has been able to do this. Not even a guy like Bron. Bron has shot over 40% from 3, but didn't have the assist. Or maybe when he led the league in assists a couple years ago, he didn't have the 3-point shooting percentage. Just a little something extra to kind of just throw on there to just show y'all. Tyrese Haliburton is on his way to becoming something special. This season, TH is clocking in at about 48% from the field. There's only 6 point guards throughout the entire NBA more efficient than Tyrese is right now. When you look at the guys ahead of him, that's nothing to be ashamed of. You got Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Luka, SGA, and his backcourt mate from last season, De'Aaron Fox. I for one am big on efficiency. I like to see how many shots is it taking a guy to run up whatever his bucket total is for that night, or just his production overall over the course of the season. According to StatMuse, and shout out to StatMuse by the way, Tyrese is an above the league average finisher in the paint at almost 62%. Basically meaning if Tyrese finds a way to knife through your defense and finds his way to the cup, you might as well chalk it up as a bucket, because it's pretty much a done deal. Coming into the NBA, a lot of noise was made about Tyrese's wonky and unorthodox shooting form. But hey, as long as it goes in, that's all that matters. Tyrese has been around 40% his first 3 years in the league, on about 6 attempts a night. Funny thing is, there's been guys in the past who played for his former teams and current teams who have had wonky looking jump shots and still got the job done with them. Depending on how old some of y'all is, some of y'all might not even know about Kevin Martin, who used to play for the Sacramento Kings back in the mid-2000s, and I ain't even really got to say too much about Reggie Miller. Today's point guards have to be able to break down their man, either get the bucket for themselves or dish it out to a teammate. And in my opinion, Tyrese Haliburton fits right in with the wave that is today's NBA. So was this really a win-win trade? Win-win trades are pretty rare in the NBA. Either one team gets fleeced or maybe one team doesn't start benefiting from the deal until way later down the line. But when it comes to this trade, on the other hand, both franchises have benefited right away. Last season, the Pacers finished the season with a record of 25 and 57. It's taken them only a little over half the season to get almost the win total they had last season. Just a complete 180 of what they had going on last season. The Kings last season finished the season with a record of 30 and 52. With that high-powered offense that they got over there, this would be a complete 180 for them as well. I feel like the trade has allowed not only Tyrese Haliburton and Sabonis to unlock more dimensions of their game, but their former teammates as well. De'Aaron Fox's splits are up all across the board. Not that the Kings don't have a log jam of guards who don't really complement each other, De'Aaron Fox is surrounded by all the pieces that he needs to succeed. Miles Turner is having his best season as a pro next to Haliburton. I always thought Sabonis and Turner were a pairing that could possibly work because Miles Turner can stretch the floor, but you don't really want your center launching almost 5 threes a game, especially someone as big as Miles. You want his big ass down there on the block or playing pick and roll with a guard that can dime him up for easy finishes at the bucket. Sabonis is leading the league in rebounding and is averaging the most assists in his career, and that's to be expected when you look at the weapons surrounding him to go along with his passing ability. And I know he's naturally a forward, but it looks like he works best at the 5, especially with his skill set and the way he's playing over there in Sacramento. And last but certainly not least, the man of the hour, Tyrese Haliburton, is finally getting a chance to be the quarterback of his own team, run the show, and prove with just a few adequate pieces around him and the ball in his hand, he can make some special things happen while he out there on the court.